Good evening, everyone. This is Mike Potillo, and we are here for our special 4-part series on the networker's mindset, the Immunotec mindset, the Immunotec mentality that you need to take your business to the next level. And we're going to talk tonight. We're going to go over a lot of information. I will tell you up front, some of the information, maybe some of you've heard before. Some of the information you probably haven't heard before. Some of it I'm going to share some of the things and elaborate a little more about what we talked about at Mexico Immunofest and prepping for what we're getting ready to do at Bogota Immunofest. But I think the number one thing that each and every person needs to hear on this Zoom tonight is, number one, having the right mentality. Having the right mindset starts with a decision to have the right mindset, to have the right mentality. So first of all, and I know it may seem trivial, but give yourself like a round of applause, pat yourself on the back, because you made the choice to be here at 9 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday night to better yourself, to better your business. And too many times we don't celebrate those little wins. And you think, is that really a win? Absolutely. Because I can tell you, because you're here, your team, the odds of them growing and showing up to an event are much higher because you made the decision to be here tonight. Now, we've got a packed out Zoom. People are continuing to join, but I'm going to go ahead and get started because I don't want to keep you here too long tonight, but I do want to give you some valuable information. Because at the end of the day, my goal is this. Your business is here, and here is relative based upon your business, right? This could be brand new consultant, been in the business today. This could be senior platinum or anywhere in between. So wherever you're at, this is here. My goal is to help you take it here, right? So what do we got to do? We got to make this difference up. And so many times this difference, the difference between where you're at and where you want to be, it's about the same distance that's between your ears, which controls your thoughts. And I can tell you, your thoughts are things, right? The good book says, as the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve, right? I want to repeat that for the translation. As if the mind, so the key word is if, right? If you can make the decision, if you can conceive something, if you can think about something, and you can believe something, right? It doesn't say just conceive it or believe it. It says if you can conceive it and believe it, then you can achieve it. So my goal tonight is for you to go from conception to belief to achievement as you go out in this business. Now, today, we couldn't have had an absolute better day to do this Zoom because it is April 15th. It is halfway through the month. Mauricio Domenzine, our CEO, one of my buddies, he always talks about 15, 5, 10. Now, that is a breakdown of what your month looks like. Virtually every month in the calendar, right? The first 15 days of a month, you focus on requalifying and recreating what you did the following month. So if we're in the month of April, by the 15th of April, today, the goal should have been to recreate whatever you did in the entire month of March. That way, you can take the next 5 days, the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, you get with your teams. If that's one person, if that's just you, or if that's 100, if that's 1,000, now you can regroup and make sure, okay, where are you at? Where are you at? What do you need? How are your sales? How are your customers? How's your ranking up? Take inventory of what your business looks like. And then the last 10 days of the month are sprinting, right? We're not long distance running the last 10 days of the month. We're sprinting. We're gonna talk about sprinting a little bit tonight. And if you'll do that, right, part of that is the mentality that you have to do. If you'll start every month with the idea that the first 15 days of the month, I'm going to recreate the entire last month. Is that hard? Yes. Is it possible? Yes. Is it honorable? Yes. So I want to encourage you to have the mentality of 15, 5, 10. The first 15 days of the month, requalifying the previous. Then take 5 days, take inventory of your team. If you owned a traditional business, but my son, he rides his bike to school right now. He's in elementary school. And there's a convenience store between our home and his school. And after school, he always likes to stop at that convenience store and he wants to go in and buy a piece of candy or a soda or a water or something. And when you walk in this place, it's like everything a kid's dream that you can imagine, right? Every kind of soda, energy drink, candy, all the stuff that's bad for you. But I can't imagine being the owner of that store and having to take inventory, right? What does that mean? That means I got to count every piece of candy, every pack of gum, every water bottle to ultimately consolidate, see what I have. What do I have in inventory? What do I need to reorder? What have I sold? What are my profits, right? That's traditional business, taking inventory. In your business, if you have that mentality, those 5 days between the 15th and the 20th of each month, taking inventory of your team, all you're doing is finding out, hey, what do you need? Hey, where are you at right now? What's your goal by the end of the month? If you will do that, your business will explode. We are in some extraordinary momentum right now. And what I love is that I'm going to take a quick video so we can have some fun on social media later. I can show some people that are on here. Love it. And we'll get a picture real quick. We got a bunch of people. I know you can't see yourself, but a lot of people, you can see your faces. All right, cool. There we go. So you got to get the social media. You got to be consistent because that will lead you to the next topic that we're going to talk about and what we're going to spend the majority of this call on, and that's money, right? It's not just to have the right mentality, okay? It's not just to have the right mindset. It's to have a money mindset. And tonight, when we talk about your mindset, when we talk about the Immunotec mentality that you need to have, we're going to focus most of our time on money. And I want you to know, I have this painting behind me, my office. It's probably backwards, but you see the word failure all over that, right? It says failure, 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 like 50 times. But right in the middle, it says it only takes one yes for success. That's the Immunotec mentality. Because the only way that you actually fail is when you give up. It's when you quit. So when you're out sharing the business, when you're out sharing the product and you get a no or a not right now or I'm not interested, that just is one of those spots on the painting. But it only takes one yes for success. One yes can change your entire business. And I can tell you, because I was that yes for somebody else. His name was Jim McDougall. Jim was a great guy. He's passed away now. When I met Jim, I was 20 years old at university and wasn't happy where I wanted to be in my life. I didn't know why I was at university. I was in my third year, and I met Jim one evening through a mutual friend that had a product on his counter that I was at, and he said that Jim sold it, and I met Jim and Diana. And Jim at the time was probably in his 70s when I met him then. And Jim showed me for 3 days, he tried to explain network marketing to me. He tried to explain compensation plans to me. I was 20 years old. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. And finally, I told him, I said, can I sell the product for more than I buy it for? And can I keep the difference? And he goes, yeah, that's just retail profit. I go, I'm going to do that. And I went out and I thought, this is the way I can make all kinds of money, because I can calculate and figure out, if I sell this much product, I make this much money. Do this, get this. And that was the start of my money mentality, because I understood that if I would just put the numbers on the board, if I would make sales, I would make profit. But what I was missing was the mentality of how to duplicate that. Now, what's interesting is, in today's world, I know many of you in different markets, gathering customers is different in different markets. It's different in Latin America on how people do it. It's different in Mexico. It's different in the United States. It's different in Europe. We've got an extraordinary way to get customers. So I want you to hear me that gathering customers, end users, is super important. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about tonight. I'm here to talk to you tonight about building teams. Because if you will build teams that build teams of customers, that's where you go from here to here. Now, if you, Cammie, if you bring up the first slide, I want everyone to see, when I started in network marketing, this was my bed. It was an air mattress on the floor. This was my first office. If you go to the bed picture, there you go. So on the right-hand side of the screen, that is literally a picture. I took that, not with the digital camera, because I didn't even have a digital camera at the time. iPhones, I don't believe, were even invented at this point. I took this with the disposable camera, right? The kind you wind up and you take the picture, because I didn't want to forget where I came from. And this picture, it almost makes me emotional every time I see it, because what you don't see is that this room is the same room that you see on the left. That was my office. It's just one room. It was one bedroom, very small place that I lived, and I found a cardboard table. I put it up, and you notice there's no computer. There's just a lot of dreams, right? There's a car. You can't really see it, but there's a Porsche in one of those pictures. There's a beach picture. There's a boat picture, right? And then I had my things that I needed to go build the business. I had my price list. I had the information, the minimum things. I like to call it the MVP, the minimum viable pieces of material that I needed to go build the business and to inspire me to keep building the business. Because this is where I was sleeping. This was my life. But on the other side of the room, I had that vision, that where I want to go, where I want to be, right? I was here, I wanted to go here. Those are the kind of things that help you do that. What I found was, just by selling product, right now in Immunotec, you can literally get 200 customers and make $10,000 US per month residual with 200 customers on the body shop bundle. That's just the numbers when you look at the comp plan and you look at the customer program that we have. So what you need to understand is that is a very viable way to build your Immunotec business. But I want you to imagine that if you had a team of people that had the mentality of building a team of people, of building another team of people that went out and gathered customers, that's when magic can happen. You see, when my mindset shifted away from the product itself, right? So if you think about Immunocal, we all know what this does. My job tonight is not to explain to you what this product does. You know it works. You know that it's worked for 30 years. You know it has 92 published studies, 26 gold standard, 80 patents. We just received on traumatic brain injury. We just received our 80th patent. And you know that it works because you've experienced it yourself. So you have the belief in the product. I'm not here to talk about the validity of this. This is the most researched product in the history of network marketing. Nobody's been able to prove me wrong on that. I challenge any company, any product, anywhere, anytime, prove me wrong that you have the peer-reviewed, double-blind, placebo studies, 80 patents, 92 published research papers, 265 researchers across 100 institutions around the world. Nobody's been able to deny that this is the most researched product. But what does that mean to you when it comes to making money? Because just having that amazing product, it means nothing unless you have the right mentality to take it to the marketplace. Now, listen, there's not a wrong way to take this to the marketplace, because I believe that if we have a heart for our fellow human beings, we should want to put this in every single household on earth. That was Dr. Bunos's dream, is what Mauricio shared this weekend when we had an event, that Dr. Bunos wanted Immunocal in every household on earth. I think that is extremely honorable because I know what it does for people. But when we talk about our product and we talk about the business, I want you, every time you see this, I showed you this in Mexico and I've showed you this a few times. I want you to see this, right? This is this. This is this. Now, these are dollars. This could be Canadian dollars. This could be euros. This could be pesos. But you need to understand that your product that you're selling is this, right? This is the number one product that you're selling, because guess what? I can't put that in my gas tank. I can't send that to the electric company to turn my light back on. I can't hand someone this and get a new car. I can't donate a box of this and my kids switch to a new school. I can't just give this to my church and they pay off their new building project. But you know what I can do with this? I can decide who gets this. I can decide everything that couldn't get me, this gets me. And what you need to know, at least this color on US dollars, it goes with everything. It matches every one of my outfits perfectly. And yes, I'm being humorous if that doesn't translate, because no matter what color your dinero is, it matches your outfit. So there's never a wrong occasion. There's never a wrong time to talk about money. Should you talk about money with doctors? Absolutely. Why do people become doctors? It's probably one of two reasons: to make a lot of money or to help people. Guess what? You got both, right? So there's never a wrong group of people to have a conversation about money, because when you change your mindset, Cami, you can bring up the next slides of some pictures. When I changed my mindset that I wasn't selling a product, I was selling a lifestyle, my life changed. These are just a few pictures you can kind of look through. I mean, travel all over the world, create assets, met, so many people of influence, and, from cars to jets to buying, dream things for my parents. The bottom right-hand picture here is a 57 Chevy, or maybe it's a 56 Chevy. And that was my dad's dream car. And he would never consider buying himself that car, even if he could afford it. And he couldn't. But even if he could, he would never do it because he just couldn't imagine spending money on a dream. And I just am thankful that I got raised by entrepreneurial-minded people, but I took my thinking a lot farther than he did. Because when I started having success, one of the first things I wanted to do was let him taste it. I wanted him to see what success could be like. And I went with my wife, and I think my daughter and my son were both born at the time, and we bought him his dream car, a 56 Chevy. Right? When you see a grown man have tears come to their eyes, you know you've done a great thing. And I think a lot of grown men and grown women that are on here tonight, you've had tears come to your eyes because you've been able to accomplish something inside of Immunotec. Maybe it's with the product, maybe it's with the money and the business, but why not have it all the time? There's a moment in time. We can go to the next slide, Cami. There's a moment in time in network marketing that there's a special company that rises to the occasion. And what I mean is that, like, Immunotec's not a startup company, but it has the feeling and it has the mentality of a startup company. We just happen to have a 30-year successful track record around the world and 200 million head start. But we've not yet hit the peak of momentum. We've got the culture. The culture's extraordinary. We've got a hero product. We've just talked about that. We've got an extraordinary business model that cranks this off, pays you on time or early every single month. And we've got incredible people that understand the timing of right now, when many companies are going out of business, when many companies are killing, absolutely killing their sales force and they're going mainstream. Immunotec is doing the opposite. Immunotec is investing in their field. Immunotec is investing in new product development. Immunotec is adding money to the compensation plan, adding all expensive paid trips to the whole model that we have. So when you think about what others are doing, they're doing things because they have fear in the marketplace. They have fear of their business. They have fear of their products. They're not in a position that we are. And when you look at Immunotec, we're doing the opposite because the company is positioned to scale to another level. When we say 2x 27, we already have the operational resources to double the size of the company already. We already have the operational resources to go to $1 billion in sales by 2030. That's what's happening. And my friend Teresa, I won't say her last name, but my friend Teresa, I've done many Zooms with her. She's made millions upon millions upon millions upon millions. I should just say tens of millions, because she's made tens of millions of dollars in the field as a consultant in network marketing. And she told me the other day, she said, Mike, every decade a company comes around, rises to the occasion, and they become that $1 billion company that makes the most impact in people's lives. And I believe it's going to be Immunotec. And when I heard that, I thought, I believe that too. That's why I'm sitting here. That's why 2 years ago, when I partnered with Mauricio and came on board, and we started kind of laying out this plan, building on the legacy and the foundation that was already here, but seeing what it could be, amazing things started to fall into place. Think about this for a second. We have, there's a lot of people on here, there's hundreds of people on here right now. But I wish I could go see what, let me look here if I could see the different markets that people are in. But what I find is very, very cool is that all of the different markets that we're in, we have some different cultures, right? Sometimes we speak a different language. This is being translated, I believe, in French as well as Spanish tonight. We have people from Colombia, Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, Guatemala, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Mexico, America, Canada. I've already seen some people from Europe. It's crazy. It's like 3 a.m. over there, and some people are on this Zoom right now. We have different cultures when you think about where we live, where we're from. But when you pull us together as Immunotec, it's one logo, right? It's one brand. It's one mindset. And that is, we know what this product can do, and we know what this product can do. So I want you to know that if you want this, it's not as hard as you think. If you will develop belief in the product, and I'm not just talking about this, but I'm talking about this as well. If you'll develop belief that it's possible, and you'll also develop belief in the company and the compensation model, those three things are a little easier to do than the last belief, but it's the most important belief that's the last belief, and that's belief in yourself. And so many times, that's what holds us back from hitting our goal, because I said this in Mexico and I thought it was funny. I hadn't said it in probably 15 years, but it came to me on stage, and it just came to me right now, so I'm going to use it. See, many people, you have big, massive dreams for you and your family, dreams of the cars you want to have, the homes you want to have, the bank account that you want to have. You have these visions of where your kids are going to go to school, where you're going to vacation, the life that you're going to have. You have these massive dreams, and you have a little bitty income. Massive dreams, little bitty income. Here's the problem that most people do in the world. Do you know what they do? They take these massive dreams and they shrink them. They shrink their dreams instead of growing their income. Right? Just think about that for a second. We've all done it. I've done it. You've done it. Dylan's done it. Everyone's done it, right? We've all shrunk our dreams at some point because of belief. Something didn't go our way, and all of a sudden the failures added up too much, and we just weren't ready to wait to go to the next one to have the yes for success. So what I want you to know is that belief in yourself also comes with a lot of responsibilities. Because if you have these big dreams, these big goals, the idea is to grow your income, right? From here to here, and expand your dreams. And I'm not just talking about monetary. I'm not just talking about making money for yourself, for your family, but I can tell you this: if you don't drive the car that you want to drive, you need to have big dreams. If your kids are not in a school where you want them to be, where you feel they're safe, or where they're learning the right things in this world, you need to have bigger dreams. If you live in an area that you're not happy with, that you feel you deserve more, you need to have bigger dreams, right? You say, Mike, I got dreams. I want to have this. I want to have this. I want to have that. But do you believe it? Do you believe it's possible? You know, there was something that came out. It was recent, but there was a podcast, and I'm not sure if everybody knows who Joe Rogan is, but he's the largest podcaster in the United States, maybe the world. But he was interviewing a psychologist, somebody who studies the brain. And the psychologist told him, and then he backed it up with studies, and he backed it up with examples in real life. So this isn't fake. This is very real, what I'm getting ready to tell you. And he said the brain can't differentiate between reality and what you tell yourself is reality. If you tell yourself something is reality enough, your brain can't really tell the difference. And all of a sudden, your brain starts to shift from this is not real to this is real. That's a mentality shift. That's crazy, right? If you think about it, that's nuts. That's ludicrous. I mean, to think that that's even possible freaks me out. But then I start to go, wait a second, I can use that to my advantage. If I can tell myself, I love driving this convertible down the road and the wind blowing through my hair, right? And I love pulling up to my new home, and I pick up my kids from the school, right? If I can visualize that, if I can believe that that's possible, all of a sudden, when you get into the car that you don't like, all of a sudden your brain is not thinking it's the car you don't like. You're driving your dream car. When you turn that key to go into your house this evening, or when you leave tomorrow and you walk out your front door and you're normally seeing that whatever you see when you walk out your front door, if it's not what you want, if you will visualize and use this space between your ears to expand your dreams and grow your income, you can have that. You just got to believe that it's possible. And I know some of you are probably like, I don't know if I believe this. Think about what I just said. Some of you are looking at me right now going, yeah, that works for you, Mike. May work for some other people, but I don't believe it'll work for me. You're already having self-doubting beliefs when I'm talking. So that's why this 4 beliefs, that's why yourself, that's why I'm spending all the time on it. Because if you will have the belief yourself, even if it's not fully, real in your mind, borrow my belief on your behalf, right? Take it, borrow it. And just for the next 5 days, as you're taking inventory of your team, just have a different mentality. Don't look at it where you're at, look at it where you want to be, right? There's, I think about legacy companies like Immunotec, right? There's foundational stuff that happened 30 years ago that without it, we wouldn't be here, right? Great infrastructure, obviously great product, great systems, great leadership, all kinds of stuff. But all of that today, that doesn't get us where we want to go, right? Just that's reality, right? What matters to everybody on this Zoom is not what happened yesterday. It's what happens moving forward. It's what happens in the future. It's what do you want your business to look like a year from now, 2 years from now? Because I can tell you, I can see your future. Your business, I can tell you exactly what it's going to look like a year from now. Would you like to know? I'll tell you. It's going to look about the same as it does tonight if you don't change something, right? Change is hard. My wife, Tiffany, hates change. I mean, she likes to drive the same routes. She tells me to turn somewhere. I'm like, that's not where I go. She goes, that's where I always go. She doesn't like change. I know change is difficult sometimes, but all I'm asking you to do is I'm asking you to change how you dress. Although I do think everybody should be sporting this logo every single day of the week. Look at this. You got it on the side of the hat. We got it everywhere, right? We wear the brand. We represent the brand. Some people, I saw a guy the other day, he had a tattoo of this logo on his body, real one, right? Immunotec is a special company. So I'm not telling you how to dress and how to change things, but I am telling you, you should incorporate this brand. If you want to dress it up, dress it up. You want to dress it down, dress it down. But when you have your brand on, it does do something to your mentality. It puts you in a different mindset to think, I'm a part of something. I'm a part of a community. I'm a part of something bigger than myself. And I can tell you, as a human, as a marketer, as an expert in this field, working with people for 27 years, when COVID happened in 2020, right? We all know things locked down and things changed. For the last 5-6 years, people have been kind of crawling their way out of that mentality, and now they're craving interaction with people. They're craving getting together with people. They're craving small events. They're craving big events. They want to get together. And one of the best ways to show that you're a team, a group, a unit, wear the brand, represent the brand, put it out there. You will rarely see me on a day that I'm doing Zooms or business that I'm not wearing the brand. Why? Because I love it. I think it looks cool, first of all. I think it's super trendy. I think it's super modern, but I want people to know what I'm doing, right? I don't have another product that I'm selling. Like I don't sell blue pins, right? If I sold blue pins, I'd have a shirt with a blue pin on it so people knew it. We sell Immunotec. We sell big dreams, not little bitty incomes. And let's go to the next slide, Cammie. And when you think about that, I've talked about earlier, it has to start with the decision. Let's go to the next slide. Because decisions are where magic happens, right? You have to make the decision before you take the action. And I shared this in Mexico, and some people I think will really get this, because to me, this is one of the most amazing examples of somebody making a decision to change their mindset in the whole history of the world. So I want you to think about this. Since the beginning of time, when God created the earth, until 1954. So that's a long time, right? Since the beginning of earth to 1954, this is how many people ran a mile in a track meet anywhere in the world in 4 minutes or less. This is how many people did it. Notice it's blank. There's zero. There's zero people from the beginning of time until 1954 that ran a mile. We talk about sprinting, right? That's a little bit more than a sprint, but that's a sprint. Nobody did it under 4 minutes. And then we go to the next slide, Cammie. This guy comes along named Roger Bannister. This is a picture of him. Roger was the first person in documented human history to run a mile in 4 minutes or less. He's the first one. So when you think about that, that's pretty extraordinary. But that's not the most important part of the story. That's the first part of the story, right? That's the decision. Roger made the decision, I'm gonna do it. Don't you think he had to change some thinking? Nobody since the beginning of time has done it, and he's gonna do it, right? He had to grow his belief, grow his dreams, grow everything, right? And he did it. But that was just the decision portion of the story. Look at this, 1954. Go to the next slide, Cammie. And I want you to look at this slide, because this is the part that gets me excited, that pumps me up for each and every one of you. Because guess what? In 1954, not only did Roger Bannister do it, a guy named John Landy broke that record. He did 4 minutes or under. 1957, Derek Ebbetson. 1958, Herb Elliott. 1962, and in 64, Peter Snell. He did the mile under there. It just continued to get less and less and less. So they did it in 3 minutes, 54 seconds. Look down the list. These are all the people all the way up to 1999 that had the world record. This is the current world record holder from 1999, 3 minutes and 43 seconds. Think about this. Roger Bannister, 4 minutes. Nobody did it from the beginning of time until 1954. And then between 1954 and 1999, look at all the people that did it. And most importantly, look at the times that they did it. They didn't just do the same thing Roger did. They blew his numbers away. They beat him by 17 seconds. That may not seem like a lot, but when you listen to Dr. Gutman talk about Immunotec sport and the study we have on 13% faster healing for athletes, and you think, is that a big deal? 13% doesn't seem like a lot. And then he tells you, if athletes have 1%, it changes their entire career, not just a moment in time. It changes their entire career, right? Olympic gold medals are decided in points of seconds, tenths of seconds. This gives you 13% faster recovery. So what I find interesting is that when you look at 17 seconds, what they blew his record away, I have a question for you. Did the length of a mile change during this time period from 54 to 99 when all of these people did it? Or is it the same mile that Roger ran? Right? I'm pretty sure a mile is a mile. Right? It's like a kilometer is a kilometer, right? No, we didn't change the distance of what it was for these people to do it. So did Did their outfits change? Right? Did they all of a sudden, was everybody else wearing heavy coats and it slowed them down? No. Did the shoes change? It must have been the shoes. It must have been the shoes that made everybody start hit. No. It started with the decision of Roger to do it. And then other people saw it was possible. And then they believed they could do it. And then they went and did it. It's the same thing for our business. I look at Dr. Potillo, right? Senior platinum, top earner in the company. He's done it. He's blazed that path for us. He's blazed the trail for us. It's possible because he's done it, right? I think about Nacho. I think about Carlos. I think about so many people, Luis. I mean, people I've seen just recently are coming to my mind. They've done it. So now you know it's possible. I think of Josh Swagel. He hit platinum in like 15 days. Chris Robinson, 15 days to executive diamond. Judy Stallings, Robert Hollis, people in America right here recently, quick. People 30 years ago did it. They've done it. So no matter where, if you've been in the company for a long time or you've been in the company for 10 minutes, I'm telling you, it's possible because it's not only happened in the past, it's happened in the not too far long past, and it's happened in the recent past, like a few months and last month, and it'll happen this month. People are moving up in the business because the product didn't change. The comp plan didn't change. Maybe we added some money. We didn't change it on somebody though, right? The mentality changed. Let's go to the next slide. And the mentality that I see changing in Immunotec right now is remarkable. It is something that I think we're going to look back 6 months from now and we're going to be like blown away at what the company overall, when I say the company, I'm not talking about the corporation. I'm talking about the field, the company, everybody in all the markets, what's going to be created 6 months from now. And then a year from now, and then 2 years from now when we hit our 2x27 goal and blow it away. It's a mentality that's shifting. Now, others, they have a different mentality than Immunotec does. Let's go to the next slide, and I'll pop through these real quick because I want to end with something I think is important. But like others they're talking in the world right now. They're watching the news. They're seeing all the chaos. They're going, oh, everything's too expensive. Immunotec, that's not the way our mentality can be. If you're going to grow your dreams, if you're going to grow your income, you got to say that's a great investment. This is the best investment. Because I can tell you this. I was talking to a lady earlier today. Her and her husband are worth over $1 billion with a B. So they're not millionaires. They're not multimillionaires. They are billionaires. And I was talking to her on the phone. She's a friend of mine. She's not in the business. She's not in network marketing. And she said, we're having a get together at our home for some people. And we invited them over. And she said, I would love to come, but I'm having some health challenges. And I've been having some health challenges for the last 6 months. And I hadn't talked to her in about 6 months, so I didn't know this. And she said something, and I heard it before, but with the way she said it, I want you to get it from your head to your heart. She said, Mike, you can have 100 problems until you have a health problem, and then you only have one problem. And like that hit me. This is a billionaire, right? Do you think she could buy good health? She could have if she'd have focused on it previously, right? She's working on it now, but she's went through some really scary times, and all the money in the world couldn't fix it in the moment. So what we've got to do is take our product into the marketplace with such urgency, with such passion and conviction. You know it works. right? If I was selling you a weight loss product, you wouldn't know that it worked, right? Even if it had a clinical study, you still wouldn't know. You'd have to say, I need to see if it works on me. This works on everybody from 2 years old, 20 years old. If we had 200-year-olds, it'd be working on them because it's clinically proven, 30 years. All of the research, I've already covered that. We know this works. We know what it does. It raises your body's glutathione. And if people will realize they can have 100 problems, but if their health becomes one, they only have one, and that's the only problem they're going to focus on. You got to know that's your opportunity to go out with the right mindset and go, this is a great investment. You got to put that in their hands and share with them what this can be. Let's go to the next slide. Others say, as they're going through their different things, they're saying, do I have to go to events? Do I have to get on calls? Do I have to do this? I really don't want to do that. That's not the mentality of a winner. A winner says, I get to go to the meeting, to the opportunity to surround myself with positive, successful people. I get to, not I have to. I get to go to these events. I get to be on this Zoom right here, listening to this guy talk for another maybe 5-6 minutes, but I get to do that. When I first joined direct sales, and the reason I bring up when I first joined, I share a lot of stories from my past, but it's because that's when I didn't know and I didn't have the right mentality fully. Once I understood that this didn't have to show up at my door for me to go prospect people with this, things started to change. Where did that change? At events. I would go with Jim and his wife, Diana, 4 nights a week. We would drive an hour, 2 hours. One event was 3 hours away. Another event was in his town. 4 nights a week, I would leave university. I would drive to their house, which was about an hour away. And then I would get in their car and I would ride with them 4 nights a week. And I would show up to meetings in that company. I didn't have any prospects. I didn't have any team. Jim did. I didn't, because I was still out just slinging products. I didn't have the right mentality yet. But it was at those events, it was at that commitment of showing up that my mind started shifting. And I started to realize that even though I'm new, if I didn't have this product, I had this product. And I could talk about this even if I didn't have that. So I want to encourage you and challenge you as a brand new person in the business. I talked to a lady named Bethany earlier today. She just got started in the business. She's not even got her kit yet. And I said, don't wait for this. Go find 3 people who want this. Because right now we are seeing an urgency in the marketplace around the world. When people are joining, we're seeing a larger percentage go from join to silver in 7 days. 7 days to silver will become the norm for a large percentage of brand new consultants. Now, some of you just went to, I don't believe that. I'm reporting facts. So I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm telling you, these are the numbers that we see in the company. New people, February, March, April, we're seeing it very consistent. It's starting to trend where people in the first 7 days of their business, they haven't even got their kits. They're going out and showing people these bonuses that they can make. They're enrolling 3 people in their first 7 days on the same package that they got started on, and they're 7 days to silver. And then guess what we're seeing? We're seeing their first full month that they joined, we're seeing them go gold in their first month. We're seeing them people go diamond in their first 90 days. Doug McNabb up in Canada, first time I ever met him was at the Woodlands at an event. Wally Kralik and some great guys were there and some gals, and some new people, some people that have been in the company for a while. And I'll never forget, Doug said, he said, Mike, somewhere in the last 20 years, something changed. And he said, when we started this company 30 years ago, because he was there, he said, people were going gold their first month, like it was easy. And he goes, now it's like it's this mountain that they're climbing. And he goes, qualifications hadn't changed. They're the same qualifications, the same sales. And I said, I think we can change that mentality by speeding up the urgency of how we present. That's where Immunobar came into play, where a shorter presentation, more people, more often, get them in the business, get them talking about money, duplicate, 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 right? This didn't change. The comp plan didn't change. The mentality changed. And now we're seeing the result of the last year, year and a half, start to make the change. And here's the interesting thing about when you start to see those things start to trend. They tend to stay. So in America, you think about American baseball, right? I probably got a baseball helmet up here somewhere. I'm a big baseball fan. Yeah, up there. St. Louis Cardinals. Mark McGuire's helmet. I've got Javier Molina. I've got his catching. I love baseball. And when you go up to bat 10 times, they will track how many times you get a hit. So if I go up to bat and I swing and I get a hit, there's one hit. And then the next time I strike out. And then the next time I strike out. The fourth time I get a hit, right? And I go up to bat 10 times. If I get 3 hits out of 10, 2 things happen. The next time that I go up and bat 10 more, the odds are pretty consistent that I'm going to hit 3 times out of 10 every time for a period of time. It's called a batting average, right? That's how they get that. Here's the other thing that happens, and this is what you got to get. If you hit 3 out of 10 times in Major League Baseball, you will earn tens of millions of dollars and be one of the highest paid people in the entire profession. Because it doesn't happen. You go up, you decide today you're going to become a professional football player, professional baseball player. You don't just go start scoring goals. You got to put in the 10,000 hours of practice, right? So you don't just go up and hit 10 and all of a sudden hit 3 out of 10. You've got to go 10,000 to get good enough to get 3 out of 10 to earn that kind of money. How does that relate to our business? It's real simple. Fortunately, you don't have to do something 10,000 times, because in our business, the numbers work for you to your advantage, because it's not just you up to bat. It's you having the ability to build teams that are right there with you at the plate, that are going out every single day on your behalf, and you're earning a little piece of what everybody's doing, right? That's the power of network marketing. So when you think about this product, yes, you're putting it into the marketplace, but every time somebody that you referred does that, you're making money, right? That's our business model. And that's the mentality that you have to have, this urgency in the marketplace. Cammie, let's go to the next couple. And I'm almost done. I'll say this. The word difficult, I get it. Life's difficult. My son is 11 years old. And this is a personal story. I'll just tell you this because it's funny. And those of you that have children, you'll understand it if you have more than one child. So today, my 17-year-old daughter was getting a little mouthy. She was talking back to her mom here in the living room. And I was just sitting over in the kitchen. I was having a bite to eat, and I could hear them getting into it a little bit. And once I saw that, I exited and I went outside of my home. I had a couple things to do. I had some people working around the house, and I was going to go check on some things. And within like 2 minutes, my son comes out of the door, out of the garage, outside. He's like, Dad, Mom is yelling at me. He goes, I didn't do anything. It's not fair. Guess what I told him? Life's not fair. I think we all can agree with that. Now, let me add something to that. Thank goodness life is not fair, right? Because if it was fair, no matter how much energy and effort, no matter how much belief, no matter how much you did in this business, this is all that maybe you would earn. And then it would be distributed to everybody, right? This is what everybody could earn. This is it. This is fair. Everybody gets the same. Who wants to go work and put in the hours and travel and show up to the events and go and do all the things that it takes to grow your dreams and grow your income? I'll take this, but I want this, right? I want to be rewarded for my efforts. Others say it's difficult. It is difficult. You know what? Being broke is difficult. Driving a crappy car is hard. Living in a neighborhood that's not safe, that's a difficult situation. Choose the difficult that you want to choose. Choose your hard, right? Nobody ever said life's easy. Nobody said life's fair. No, people say it's difficult. It's a little crazy. But choose what you want to do about that. Do you want to live in this situation? No. It's going to be difficult, but I'm going to choose to go over here. I'm going to start with my mentality. I'm going to go silver in 7 days. I'm going to go gold in my first month. I'm going to go diamond in the next 90, right? Starts with a choice. Choose your hard, choose your difficult, and then go do it. You don't like the car you're driving? Choose to get a new one. Put a picture of the one that you want up there. Start visualizing driving that brand new red convertible. Whatever it is, everybody is going to have the opportunity to give up in life. Failure is all around us, but it only takes one yes to success. Let's go to the next slide, Cammie. So don't say it's difficult. Say it's possible, right? Because others, they're saying things are impossible in this world. You get around some people sometimes and you just ask yourself, why am I around this person? I need to get away from this person. Because all they're talking about is the negative, the bad, right? And in English, when you look at the word impossible, right? This is actually spelled wrong, which is kind of funny. Impossible is impossible. That's how you spell impossible in the English language. But if you just separate the I am from possible, what does that say? It says, I'm possible. What's the difference between impossible and I'm possible? About this much space. The space between your ears. I actually wrote, I don't ever talk about this, but my wife and I documented our first 10 years of life and business. And we actually wrote a book called I'm Possible, because I believe it's not for sale or anything like that. So don't go try to buy it. But it's such a belief that I have that just that short distance between I'm possible, it's the same distance between your ears that makes everything possible. So what I want to leave you with is, this is the end of the first series. We're going to do 3 more series of these, and they'll be different. There'll be different information that we'll be sharing. But this first one, we had to set the right tone. We needed you to get from where you're at to where you want to be. Define that. Define where you want to be. Know where you're at. Define where you want to be. Start with the decision to change your mindset, and then also get your teams on board with that. Because if it's just you and you're just out sharing a product, that's okay. But if you're out sharing a product and this product, that's super okay. That's really, really good. Because this is this, and this is this. And you should never forget that. So thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you got something out of it. I would ask you to do this. Here's what I would ask you, every one of you, to do as you leave. I like to end Zooms with what I call a CTA, a call to action. So I want to call you to take action. So what I want you to do is, I'm just going to give you 2 things tonight. One of them is really easy. One of them, you have to make a decision. One, I want you, as soon as we're done, you can take a picture of me, you can take a picture of yourself, take a picture of the Immunotec logo, do something, post on social media, and I want you to use the hashtag I love Immunotec. You can do that in your own language, but hashtag I love Immunotec. And I want to see what that can do and spread across social media. So take a picture of yourself, take a picture of something you're doing, take a picture of the product, put up an old picture that you love in your gear at an event. I love Immunotec. Just do that. That's number 1. The second thing that I want you to do is, don't spend the rest of April, the next 5 days, then the next 10 days, going through the motions. I give this example a lot, but like hot water is 211 degrees, right? If you go to your stove and you put a boiling pot of or a pot of water on there and you turn it up, hot water gets to 211. But when it goes to 212 degrees, it starts boiling, right? So hot water is 211, 1 degree difference, 1 step up. It changes the water's molecular structure. It's boiling now. You can do that in your business anytime you want. People call it the X factor. They call it momentum. They call it whatever. I'm telling you tonight, take it up a notch for the rest of this month. You got half the month left. Use the 5 days to evaluate where's your team at, get them to take it up a notch. And then what does take it up a notch mean? It means when you go into the marketplace to present, it means do it with more urgency. Do it with more passion. Do it with more conviction. Don't just give another presentation. Give it like you've got 10,000 people in front of you, even if there's just one, and have some oomph about it. Not hype, not just excitement, but belief and passion for what it can do for them, right? People, they don't know how much, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? I've heard that all my life. So those are the 2 things I want you to do. I want you to take your business up a notch and really do it. That means put in more people than you would ever think. Give more presentations the next 2 weeks than you did the entire last month, right? Crank it up a notch, a very measurable notch, right? Something that you can tell me next time you see me and go, Mike, I kicked it up a notch. I recruited 1 in January, 1 in February, 17 in April, right? Whatever it is, make it measurable. And start by posting on social media, I love Immunotec. Tag me. If you're follow me on Instagram or Facebook, tag me. I'll reshare your stuff, as many as I can. But that's it for tonight. We have the dates. for 3 more of these sessions. They'll all be unique sessions and experience, and they'll be different. I may look totally different next time. I may have a different mentality, but I will bring it for you. So everyone, thanks for joining us tonight. Have a fantastic evening, and let's do it. It's time to take it up a notch. Have a good evening. Good night, everyone.